Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 6. So it finally arrived. I know I'm a bit late on the video just because I was actually at the panel, which is pretty cool because I'll be able to actually supply some extra information from the panel direct from there in this video as well. But they did finally drop the Season 6 trailer for The Flash, and it's very different than I think any other trailer we've got in regards to like an initial one at least from Comic-Con. But yeah, let's just watch it and then come back.
My name is Dr. Ramsey Rosso, and for the last decade, I've spent my life dedicated to a single cause, helping others fight the diseases that plague humanity. But not anymore. And it's all because of them. You see, there are many cancers in this world, and they all wear different faces. Some are doctors, like me. Some of them seek out the truth, regardless of the consequences. Others mock the very science they worship.
We just ran out of time.
But the most dangerous ones are those who call themselves heroes. They claim to fight for the things that matter in life: truth, family, law, order, and most of all, for life itself.
Why is it every time I come to visit, there's always a crisis?
But it's all a lie. Because in the end, there's only one battle. One thing to fight against. An eternal enemy who must be eliminated forever. And that's death itself.
Are we under attack?
The scientifically impossible probably will happen.
I don't need to understand them. Just tell me what I can do.
No one has to die. Ever. Again.
So yeah, wow. So hopefully some of you guys might have been able to read what I was meaning when I said it's a bit different in regards to the past, in regards to other trailers we've got from Comic-Con. And by that I mean it's really through the eyes of the villain, or at least the villain is the one pushing the trailer forward. Like, it's really his trailer, which is different. Like, I guess maybe the season 2 trailer was somewhat similar to that, because like Zoom was sort of there, but he really wasn't pushing it. Like, I think Jay Garrick was like the fake Jay Garrick was talking, so that's probably the most similar one that we've gotten. But yeah, it was much different. But obviously, before we jump into everything from the trailer and the panel, be sure to drop a like on the video if you are hyped for this season. I think this is the season with the most potential. Outside of those opening 2 seasons, this is the one I'm most excited for, just based off everything that was at the panel and just all the optimism, I guess, around it. And you can just tell it's pure optimism. It isn't like some fake stuff that's just being put on. But yeah, leave all of your opinions down there, as well as leaving a like on the video just to show your support. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. So the first thing in the trailer is we actually meet the villains. That's Ramsey Rosso. Now, we did learn at the panel that he's actually a former colleague of Caitlin Snow, or Killer Frost, who then, upon reuniting with Caitlin around that same time, takes a turn to the dark side, which we will see throughout the early parts of the episode. Now, we just thought parts of the season, might I say. Now, we thought Ramsey Rosso was just going to be an episode 1 villain, but that's not the case, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, obviously, he will become Bloodwork, as we do see his eyes go a bit like crazy and sort of like blooded over, if you want to call it, I guess you could say, at the end of the trailer. Now, we did learn that he will be the villain for the first half of the season, not the first episode. He will appear in the first episode, but he'll be the villain for the first half of the season. So I guess you could say he's the villain for the pre-crisis part of the season, and then we will have a completely new big bad after Crisis on Infinite Earths in the back half. So essentially, Eric Wallace, the new showrunner for the season, taking over from Todd Helbing, described it as, and I quote, 2 graphic novels, and that Ramsey Rosso and his story will actually play directly into Crisis in regards to Barry and everything going on. So very interesting in regards to that. Now, Ramsey Rosso, aka Bloodwork, will be played by Senthil Ramamurthy, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is a fairly decently well-known actor in TV. He's played like a lot of doctor roles and stuff like that. So some of you might recognize him, but yeah, so he's the villain we're having in the first half of the season, and I'm excited to see who we get in the back half as well. Now, there is some time vault stuff in the trailer as well. It's really minor, but there is some stuff in there. There's also a bit, I think, where Barry's actually talking to Gideon. Now, apparently, from what I've heard, this season picks up like 10 seconds or so after the end of last season, so that would make sense that maybe they go back to the Cortex, they get a thing on their computer that says the time vault's going off, they go there, and then they see the newspaper. That seems like what's going to happen, and that's that's the point, in which Barry goes, "Yo, Gideon, what's up? What's freaking out and stuff like that." So it seems that's what's going to be the go there. Now there is some of you guys might have remember this from, it might have been like a month ago. We got like a casting announcement for this like new African American scientist type character, and I think this is him right here, because they never specified whether it was a male character or a female character. Back then when they were doing that stuff. Now it seems that he's getting like shocked or something. He's like touching some sort of equipment and he's getting injured. I don't know, something along those lines. I really can't tell you, but I think that this is that character, because I don't know why they would focus on this, because it seems like it has nothing to do with anything outside of him just getting zapped, and I don't think that's going to lead to anywhere. It could be how he gets his powers, but I think he's just going to be a scientist type character that we just interact with throughout the season. Now, there were some other things from the panel to go over, which, I thought you guys would want to know about. So the first thing is that Cisco Ramon, or, Vibe, will return this season. We already knew that, like, he'd been in set photos and stuff like that. But he's going to be in this entire season. He's going to be playing a role, I guess, fairly similar to Season 1. I don't think they necessarily quoted saying, oh, it's like he was in Season 1. But the way in which they worded different things about his skills as, like, an engineer and all these different, talents with gadgets and stuff is very useful for the team. It's not just his power. That's basically what Season 1 was like, so it seems that's exactly what his role is going to be like. It's going to be interesting to see how well they incorporate it, but I think he was also, like a question was brought up about like stuff that they like about their characters. Oh no, someone asked him, specifically about not having his powers and stuff, and I think also whether he'd get them back. I think he said no to him getting the powers back, but the way in which he worded it sounded like he's going to basically take over like the role that Iris had in, I guess, specifically Season 4, but also, I guess, part of last season, heading up the Cortex, like that quarterback type role, which I think we all agreed with. Someone like Cisco or Caitlin should have been in that role in those seasons, and Iris should have been, developing that storyline with the journalism instead of being anchored in Star Labs, where it felt really odd that she was there. So that's the role he's going to be playing in this season, just from what was being said, but also not being said, if that makes sense. So that's what you should expect with Cisco in Season 6. Tom Cavanagh, obviously we know he plays all the different versions of Harrison Wells. The only thing they really hinted at in regards to his new version of Harrison Wells this season is that, and they kept using this word sensual, like that was just the word they constantly kept using. Obviously it became a running joke throughout the panel, the word sensual. They also said he was going to be like a bit adventurous and a bit of a swashbuckler, I think was another term that they used. So is it going to be like a pirate, Wells? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do there. But they also did mention that he's going to be playing Eobard Thawne, which is a bit of a duh. Like, I think we all knew that was going to happen. And he's also going to be playing the character of Pariah in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, Pariah, if you've read the story, you would know why that's an important role. I'm not going to spoil it, because if I tell you what it is, you might just get hints to it in Season 6, because I think they said in the Flash Season 6, you're going to see it build up to the point where it makes sense that he's Pariah or something along those lines. So I'm not going to spoil what Pariah's role is in Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you want to look it up, you can look it up. But it's pretty interesting that he's going to be playing that role as well. They also did say, Danielle Panabaker did say that Killer Frost, is going to have a bigger role this season in regards to her actually interacting with the team in Star Labs, just as a team and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting. I don't necessarily know how that's going to work in regards to like the long run. But I'm interested to see it. And she was constantly referring to her as Frost, and I think everyone referred to her as Frost whenever they brought it up. So I think they're going for that full-on name change of Frost this season and just sort of getting the killer out of there. And the last thing that was brought up, which got a lot of people excited, which not many people tweeted about from the panel. I tweeted out about it, and I think I'm like one of the few that did it. But Wally West or Kid Flash will be back this season for a multi-episode arc, which could mean 2, it could mean 5. I think it's 2, but I only heard him say multi-episode arc, but it might just be 2 episodes. And this was confirmed by showrunner Eric Wallace. He was the one that said it. Now, I think the description of what would happen is that he would team up with the Flash to take on one of their greatest enemies. So this could be in Crisis against Reverse Flash, or it could be later in the season with whoever this big bad is towards the end of the season, it's going to be something like that. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess, who it is. But yeah, he's going to be back in some way, shape, or form. We'll just have to see when that is and I guess what impact he does have. But yeah, guys, overall, my thoughts on this trailer from Comic-Con, it's probably I don't necessarily think it's the best trailer, but I think it's the most interesting just because of the way it, I guess, portrayed things, and also just the way it was set up. As I said, it's from like the eyes of the villain. You know, it's like him, like he's the main focus of the trailer, which I think was pretty cool. Which outside of really the season 2 one, which sort of was focused around Zoom, but not from the eyes of Zoom, that's probably the closest one to this. So with Eric Wallace now in charge, I think it's going to give the show a bit of a refresh, because I didn't like Todd Helbing as showrunner. His ideas weren't very fresh. They were just reusing ideas. Well, I think Eric Wallace is actually trying hard, and he's doing the model which we've been asking for, which is the 2 villains a season. Arrow did it really well in its early seasons, and that's why they work so well. You could have that villain for the first half of the season, then that ends, or it can connect into the bigger bad for the season, like a Brother Blood and Deathstroke sort of thing. That's the way you do it. And I think with Crisis happening, it gives you the perfect excuse to have 2 villains, because I don't really know how they're going to do ongoing villains from the beginning of the season, then have this big thing, and then they're still there in the same way that they are post-Crisis. I don't think that makes sense. So I think this model is the best way to go about it. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it. If you want to leave all of your opinions down there in the comments section down below, I'm excited to see what you guys think. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.